can still see the ground is really wet. They said they had about 2 feet of water inside the building. And we'll take a look this way. The animals are huddled up together, trying to stay dry and get away from the water. And as we turn this way, you can see the water fill this whole area here. And I'm joined by Janie Allen, who works for the Humane Society. You said you had to go through water almost chest high to get inside here, and you're in urgent need right now. What can people do to help? So the demonstrators say if teachers choose to come to school today for their regularly scheduled job, they'll have to cross the street here to cross the picket line where the demonstrators are to enter the school. I'm going to step right out of the way to show you something. They just got the vehicle involved in this triple shooting up on that tow truck to take it away from the scene. We do know 3 people were shot here at Cross and Roosevelt. One of those people that was in the car died here on scene. This right here gives you a look at just how big this tree was that fell across MacArthur Drive, blocking the roadway and taking down power lines. So our drive from Little Rock to Pine Bluff, the highways were pretty bad because of the rainfall. Once we got to Pine Bluff is when we really started seeing damage. There's still debris in the roadways. There's trees that have been knocked over. Just about 100 feet away from us, there is a power line that's actually down. Entergy just showed up within the last 30 minutes and are assessing the scene. And they have moved from the side of Central High to the front now that classes have started this morning at Central High School. But I'm actually joined by Jennifer Lusk, one of the teachers here at Central that chose to participate in the strike this morning. One of the questions we've been getting on social media all morning long is for people to explain why you guys say the state board keeping partial control of the Little Rock School District would create segregation.
There one second and gone the next.
Allison Steeland, a lifelong Clarendon resident, won a raffle to be the person to detonate the explosives taking out the historic White River Bridge.
I counted down and I did it.
But this wasn't an easy decision for Steeland.
They said it should be somebody from here that loved the bridge.
She was one of many people from Clarendon who fought to keep the White River Bridge standing, a fight that made it all the way to the Arkansas Supreme Court.
And we lost, and this is a historic bridge. We would have loved to have seen it saved.
Mayor Jim Stinson explains they fought to turn the bridge into a pedestrian and bike trail with the goal of bringing tourist dollars to Monroe County.
Tourism would bring dollars into Clarendon, and it's not going to happen now.
Mayor Stinson argues the state could have saved money by repurposing the bridge.
We could have spent $5 to rehab it and made it a pedestrian and bicycle walkway. Could have saved the state $6 million. The Supreme Court just ruled against us.
In Stinson's mind, the bridge was a landmark.
We're hurt. We are hurt that nobody would listen to us.
But for some, the state's reasoning that the bridge posed safety concerns is enough for them to back the decision.
We understand that the maintenance and the safety of the community was in the best interest.
There's nowhere for the water to go.
Residents of the Willow Beach neighborhood have spent a week preparing for this historic flood.
Right now we got about 4 houses that are in the water.
John Santoro moved to Willow Beach in 2004 and says he's never seen anything like this.
So this is the first time we've ever seen sandbagging out here, and it's the worst we've ever seen, and it's the worst a lot of the people that's lived out here from day one has ever seen.
A couple miles down the road, volunteers at the Scott Fire Department fill sandbags. This while the Old River Levee is at risk of breaching.
With a 3-foot diameter hole under the levee and hoping that it don't blow out and make it worse.
Scott Fire Chief Ron Meyer says several hundred acres of farmland next to the levee have already flooded.
If it comes through, we've got a lot of homes in this area that will be affected that the levee is protecting right now.
Authorities are putting out warnings to those near the levee to prepare to leave at a moment's notice.
Prepare yourself for a quick leave if you need to, personal belongings and things of value to you.
With homes already underwater in Scott, Chief Meyer says their focus is protecting whoever they can.
I think everybody's a survivor, and we're just trying to do what we can to assure that no further damage happens to some of the other homes in here. So
Santoro describes it as heartbreaking.
It brings you to tears many times because it's just, this is their livelihood.
Cassie was 15 years old when she went missing. Today she'd be 20 years old, and in the years since she was last seen, investigators and the family have been left wondering what happened to Cassie Compton. Stuttgart Police Chief Mark Duke was a lieutenant in the department back on September 14, 2014. The day Cassie Compton disappeared is stuck in his mind.
I was there the morning that she was reported missing, and it's like anything else. You think, all right, she's mad, she left, we'll find her. And it just went sideways from there.
In the 5 years since, there's never been a definitive sighting of Cassie. The day she was last seen, she went to a demolition derby in DeWitt with a family friend and returned home just before 7 p.m. on Sunday, September 14th.
She had stayed the night with family friends and came home on Sunday. The mother and the boyfriend were there. She went in. She left a few minutes later. And that's where the mystery starts.
Cassie's mother, Judy Compton Kimsey, says she has no idea what happened to her daughter.
We've had no luck whatsoever. And I've questioned people, friends that she hung out with, and they hadn't seen her. They said they hadn't seen her.
Judy struggles with the unknown.
I can't imagine. Where she went. I don't know if she even left the driveway.
On September 14, 2014, Judy was homesick in bed when Cassie returned from the Derby. Also at home at the time was Judy's fiancé, Brandon Rhodes. Chief Duke says nobody has ever been ruled out as a suspect in Cassie's disappearance, but that Brandon Rhodes is someone they've kept their eye on over the years.
Yeah. I can't just say, but yeah, that's a unique individual.
In the months after Cassie's disappearance, Judy and Brandon Rhodes ended their relationship. Channel 7 talked to Judy and her son Chris Newcomb shortly after their split.
Both Judy and Chris suspect foul play in Cassie's disappearance, and they believe Brandon Rhodes, Judy's ex-fiance, may have something to do with it. Before she went missing, Cassie would confide in Chris.
They'd fight all the time, and they wouldn't get along, and she didn't want to be around him.
But now, 5 years later, Judy says she doesn't believe Brandon Rhodes was involved in her daughter's disappearance.
I never thought that he would have anything to do with it. He looked at her like his daughter, you know. And if he did, it would be shocking to me.
After some digging, we found that Brandon Rhodes is in jail in Independence County on charges completely unrelated to Cassie's case. I wrote Brandon Rhodes a letter, and he wrote me back. Hear what he had to say about Cassie's disappearance tomorrow night right here on Channel 7.